No, yeah, it's just us painting. Everyone always asks me to do this, and they're like, "Oh, can you stream the show?" Or and been in when we did the wrong thing. There we go. Yeah, I think I do remember that actually. Remember that. Yep. I'm gonna get our clear on first. There we go. Excellent. Oh, I gotta get this plugged in. Otherwise, this thing will not last the whole class. Okay. Yeah, you guys throw on the clear, and then I'm going to get these comments up over here, just so we can take a peek every once in a while. All right, so anybody who's tuning in either now or in the future, we're just in the middle of a class and decided to stream the class because the students were so nice. They gave you guys access to this class, right? So I'll have the microphone on, and you'll see the show just as you normally see the show, except we'll be in a class. So get your popcorn out, because this one's going to be at least 2 hours, at least, right? Might even take a break in between. So let me know where you're watching from, as always, and enjoy the class. The what? Popcorn. I know. I should have a little popcorn maker in here for sure. So I'll be trying to monitor the comments every so often. And yeah, besides that, you guys are going to be legit listening and viewing a live in-person group class right now, just for your viewing enjoyment. Okay, so let's get our clear on. And we got to get it on very, very thinly, like always. You usually don't need a whole lot of it either. Oh, you know what we should do is turn this way down, because I don't want to get the nonsense. Okay. Come over here, launch in our clear. Bang, boom. And then, like I was saying, when we start putting on that red, we really have to maintain the right amount, because if we put on too much and then we try to hit it with our white, it starts showing pink. I did one time where I'd put on way too much red, like under paint, and it ended up being pink, white, and blue instead of red, white, and blue. So these are always fun, though. They're one of my favorites. By the way, guys, anybody who's watching, this one is available, like always. And it's just not going to be a live show like you normally see, since we're in the middle of a group class. So here we go. There we go. And then once we finish our clear, if you're ahead of me, then we got to wipe it off with our paper towels. So we'll get our couple paper towels out. Oh, I've already done a painting today. My arm is like legit sore. Just sore. I did a big old, did you guys see the one I did earlier? I think I took it into the dry room already, but either way, it was a pretty cool little sunset scene that I'd taken a photo of from driving back from Washington. And I was like driving on the Oregon side, looking over to Washington across the river, and it's like sunset. And so I painted the whole thing with the road and the little, you see it. I'll get it out later. Get it out and look at it. That one came out neat though. Bang, bang, boom. So this got that. There we go. Let's see. I love my mods. Christina's not, I bet she doesn't even paint, but she knows the answer to every question because she watches so often. People have been watching for years, and they know all these answers without me even having to respond. So, hi, everybody who's watching. Allison's like, what are you waving at me for? Oh, man. She's like, you're so right, Josh. LOL. That's funny. So whenever we got our clear on, we'll wipe it off. Brenda's got the big old 2-inch brush rocking. You see it well enough?
Like dog brushing, so.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want me to shut this window? Some of the times the light that comes in through here is too bright. Yeah, I got the studio for all the windows here, and then immediately had to get curtains and black out all the windows that I have, because the live show and the lighting, you know what I mean? Is that any better? Yeah. Okay, cool. Right on. Okay, so once we put on our clear base and then we've wiped it off, we're going to take our, let's see if I even have enough. I probably don't, because I never do. But it's over here too. We're going to take our red and the crimson together. And I normally don't make a pile, right? When I say that, some people go to make, they'll take their palette tool and they'll pick up 2 bits of each and they'll make a pile. And I'm like, I don't never do that. I kind of like to let it load itself onto the brush and, you know, as we go, take a look at it. So get the blue over here. Okay, so we've got our, you know, just for everybody watching, our bright red, our ultramarine blue, alizarin crimson, midnight black, and titanium white. Okay, so we're going to go into the crimson a little bit, start to pull that guy down, and into the red. Same thing on the brush. We want to get the... Yeah. Yeah, we did, didn't we? Yeah. Yeah, no worries. You've done this painting like 16 times. We're there. But we'll get our red and the crimson together, and that way it's kind of semi-transparent. It's not too... If you just use the crimson alone, that's when you get really pink clouds, you know what I mean? And when you're just using the red, then it's almost too bright red and you get like a lighter pink out of that too. So if we're kind of mixing them together, pull a little bit down over here, pull a little bit down over there, and we're just looking at it, you know what I mean? That looks pretty red to me. It's just a deep red color. And then, remember, we have to have our blue square that's up here in the flag. And it doesn't even come all the way down to half. So we got to keep an eye on it, right? What we'll do is take that red all over that brush like that. Start it right up here very vertically and push it along. So we're dropping off the red streak and then stopping, right? Kind of filling up and trying to be straight, just like that. Just one brush length, maybe 2 fingers, right? If we have it too big, then the white is going to try to grip it too much, right? So we're going to pull it over further than we're going to need it because we're going to cut through with our blue square over here, right? So we'll go back and we'll load up the brush again and we'll try not to make these too large. Right, we're going to drop down, so we're going to leave almost 3 fingers worth of space in between for the white. Okay, drop it down. I don't want it to be equal. I want it to be just a little bit more. Right, and it's just literally throw it up there. You know what I mean? There we go. Drop it in, push it hard, same size, same length, about as straight as you can get it. Over there, over here, over there. Right, looking good. Seriously. The more almost black that you have in here, right, just that pure unpainted, that's where we're going to throw our white clouds so they stay really white. You know how when we put them onto like our blue canvases or, you know, as soon as you touch the white up there, it just starts going blue. In this case, if we put the white over the red, it will instantly start going red, right? And so we want to have that blank area that's in here that's going to stand for our red, white, red, white stripes as we go down. We don't want to make it too big. My goodness, Josh, listen to yourself. We got to do one more up here, right? So just about the same over here. So we've got our third one, just pulling it over. Doesn't even have to be perfect, right? Literally, we could have a wavy flag. It could be blown in the wind. It doesn't have to be the most perfect thing. Put that on there, and then we're going to drop down the same distance, but this time we're coming all the way across. Okay, and so in the next stripe is where, if you want to have that variation, Brenda, and have the blue, then we'll do it in the next one after this long one. How are we looking back here? Awesome, right? That's okay, because we'll come over here and we'll push this red back with all of our blue. We'll cut it into a nice even little square, and then we'll go right underneath. Sweet. I like it. Yeah, it's like you guys are like listening to what I'm saying. It's crazy. I figured out in my, you know, by taking Danny's classes and stuff, that I'm that student that gets like hyper focused on one thing while everyone else is like going past, and then I'm like, wait, sorry, what was you saying? I forgot. That's totally me. I've done that many times. So we'll come down, we get our red, our crimson, okay, same distance and everything right there, except we'll come all the way across, and this is our back water, right? So this is like our horizon of our ocean in the background. So if we can get it, you know, pretty straight, I hope, then we should be looking pretty good. There we go, straight-ish enough. Anyway, our whole left side gets covered. But over here, stretching out, and again, we don't want it to be too big, so don't let it grow too big. Or we're trying to flatten it. And then remember, we're going to come through and we're going to cut out these little bits of overhanging redness with our blue square once we finally get there. Throw this guy, make it a nice even stripe. Then drop down again. So this, after you do the long one right here, Brenda, if you wanted that blue area, right, that is where you'd put the blue right underneath, so have that blue shine, right? And if we want to have it white to keep it as a red, white, blue, whatever, then we're just going to leave it empty, right? So in between these two areas, you can decide where or what color you want it to be, right? And remember, we're just painting a little seascape that's sort of flag-esque, right? We're not painting the perfect flag It's not going to have 13 stripes. You know what I mean? It's not going to have 50 stars. What's that? What's going to be?
It's still going to be really bitchin'.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's going to be totally bitchin'. Yeah, these ones, they're very popular when I do these. Everybody seems to love them. And the only reason we're doing it today is because Flag Day is tomorrow. Woo, Flag Day. So we figured, hey, it's Flag Day. Let's do a flag scene. And Allison and Brenda thought that was just a fine idea. Almost the 4th of July, too. That's correct. And this is one of the last classes in the Paint with Josh studio in Oregon. Makes me sad. We're going to still try to keep a place, but I haven't found one yet. But at least come down here and be able to keep teaching you guys. There we go. Huh? What do you mean?
There's no more classes?
No, well, there's the 19th. So we got the 19th and the 20th. And then I'm debating about whether to have something on the 21st or not. If I do, I just haven't painted it yet. Or I can go back to an older scene, like the Mount Hood scene was really popular when we did that one. And, you know, any of the older scenes that we've done. If you guys have any ideas, let me know. Let me know. So I thought it was stairs in the comments. That's a good one. It's, you know, everybody sees something different. That's the fun part about it. There we go. How many stripes did we get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's always 11. I always get 11 no matter what. It's always, especially on a 16 by 20 canvas. So in between those areas, especially if you wanted to add that blue shiny bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Looking good. I like it. I like it. And so this is where you would add that blue if you wanted that different stripe in there. Because this will be blue, and then you'll have the white cloudy stripe, and then we can add that blue at the bottom. Now, whenever we finish putting on these stripes, we want to get this red and crimson paint off of the brush by cleaning it, actually in the thinner, so we have a clean, dry brush. Otherwise, when we go to put the blue in, what's the red and crimson and blue going to make? All purpley. We'll have a red, purple, and white flag, which isn't really, you know, what we're going after. So whenever you finish, just let me get your brush and get it all cleaned up. Whoop. I forget that we're on camera. Or I'm on camera. Anyway, just walking up to the screen like, huh? No? Okay. Staring directly into the lights. There we go. So you guys can see how fast sometimes the comments come through. Especially when I ask everybody, check in right now. Let me know where you're watching from. Everybody out there watching. Seriously. I'll give you guys some shout outs wherever you're from. Let's see. I want to see it. Watch how fast it comes in. There we go. New York, Colorado, Tennessee, South Carolina, Colorado Springs, California, Louisiana, holy cow, Jersey, Tennessee again, the UK, Maine, Georgia, Colorado, North Carolina, Texas, Florida, Houston, Missouri, Atlanta, Tennessee, Michigan, South Carolina, Atlanta, Canada, Joycey? Is that a place? Oh, Jay-Z. Jay-Z, they're checking in from over there. South Africa, Dallas, Kentucky, Missouri, Detroit, Northwest Arkansas. We got Detroit again. See how fast they come in, though? Illinois, LA, Massachusetts, Lake somewhere, Las Vegas, Philippines, Florida, Philippines again, Beaumont, Omaha, Canada. We got Jersey to Virginia, Arizona over on the tubes, checking in. They come in a little bit slower. Ohio, North Carolina again, New York, Algeria, Alabama, Pennsylvania, Toronto, Kuwait. We got people literally watching from all of Sweden, all over the world. Literally, all over the world. And then everyone goes, how come you didn't read my comment? And I'm like, they come through so fast. Sometimes you can't read them at all. So let's get the blue onto the brush. Brenda, you need me to wash yours? Got it. Brenda is the best student. She brings her own canvas, brings her own brushes. My goodness. Not to say that anyone else isn't, but at least I don't have to use my supplies. Beat up my own brushes. I got to start replacing these class brushes here soon. Some of them are, I think they get missed or like not really dried by the end of the night. So some of them got some little crispy tips on the end of them, and I'll give them to people to use, and I can hear the difference. As, yeah, it's like they're scratching across. I'm like, no, oh man. One lady came in and did a class and was like, you know, like praising me that I was using good brushes and stuff. You know, it's just like, oh, it says a lot about you by the brushes that you let everybody use versus some other people, you know, they use the good brushes and then they give their students the bad ones, you know what I mean? Mary came and did a class yesterday, and when it's just, I don't even think we'll need, like we could use the Paint with Josh fan brushes if we needed to, because there's only a few of us in here. But when I'm doing a big class, I'm not going to use the good brush and give everyone else the, you know, not necessarily a bad brush, just not as good. And so I use those ones too. I gave you back your brush, right, Brad? Okay, cool. All right, so now we're going to get our blue, and we're going to pull down a good amount of it. We don't really need to see it this vibrantly blue on the canvas, right? Like it's going to get darker. What we don't want to do is bring the blue down into this stripe, right? Because that's where our white clouds are going to go through. So you can't have any blue here, otherwise it's going to turn your clouds blue. So if I came into here, down to the end, turned it over here, made a little square, and then we'll just fill in that square with all of our blue real heavily too, right? Like if we want it to be blue, we better put a lot of blue on there. If we don't put enough blue on there, then it'll just look black, right? There won't be enough blue to activate with the white paint, right? And I've done it many times where I put the blue on and I put it down here. And I'm like, oh no, because you got to have a white stripe right there. Therefore, you can't have any paint on these areas of the canvas. If we want it to stay supremely white, we're not going to put any undercolor. It's just a black canvas, right? Now remember, anybody who's just tuning in, the black canvas is a dry black canvas that has a wet, clear base. It's not a wet black base, okay? I never use, and I get the comment all the time, like, do you ever use that liquid black? No, throw that in the garbage. Seriously, like if you get the little 3-pack, keep the clear and the white and throw the black away. At least Paint with Josh never, ever, ever uses that stuff. I did it one time years ago, and maybe a couple times years ago, and found it very, very, very difficult to use. Therefore, if it's difficult for me to use, it's difficult for you guys to use. And I don't know, just toss it. I don't paint a deck chair with it or something. You know what I mean? Like use it some other where besides the canvas, right? Now, Brenda, if you did want to put that blue in, that would be into this area right here, right? And when we do light that area up with our little sandy trick technique thing, it'll be nice and blue. I'm going to keep mine bare just to go with the normal setup of what we normally do. Just to keep it, you know, Paint with Josh style. Okay, so when we get our blue stripe in, or if you're going to do the blue stripe, we're going to put it in here. If not, let's just keep our square up there pretty heavily, and then we'll get our fan brush out. Whichever size you want, doesn't really matter. I gave you 3 different sizes. I would use probably the biggest one. And our main goal is that we're not going to get, firstly, too much paint. Josh, that's like enough white for a white canvas. Little bit of paint on the brush, okay? And then we're not going to interact with too much of that red. We want to leave it, you have to kind of pop up into it, but if you go too crazy, right, it's going to be too bright. So I'm going to start it in here, just touching onto the black with just the corner, right? Not it being flat, just the corner. Come up every so often. As soon as you get close to that red, you get out of there, right? Pop in another little bit, and we don't, and see I'm pushing harder and harder to drop off the paint, smushing it. Don't get any red on that brush though, right? Once you get up there and we use our brush, which I'll probably clean again actually, just so it doesn't get too bluey. Bluey. But once we get up here and we start to mix that white, then it's about not covering the black, right? We don't want it to get all the way down to the red, and we don't really want to cover all the black area either. And so if we're just using the corner of the brush, just so ever lightly, right? And then pushing in harder where you think you need to, right? Mary in the class last night was saying, she's like, you know, she came up and watched me do the cloud or whatever we were doing. And she was like, oh, like I was only literally using the corner of the brush, and she wasn't pushing hard enough in some areas, right? When I showed her, by the time we got finished, it was almost the full 1-inch brush. Remember, you guys are using half the size that I'm using, and it was almost that full 1-inch brush, but that was because we had a big giant cloud that we were trying to push out, right? And the more you push, the more the brush will get dirty. Let me get that white one, and I'll clean it off for you. Excellent. Excellent. And we don't want to use too much paint, right? So I would wipe it, like get the paint on it, and then wipe it off on the plastic palette below, because you can always add more, right, on a black canvas. And I may go back and add a little bit more right here. And we're also going to allow it to trail off into the blue, right? I just wanted to get this brush clean for you so you could start mixing it up. But I start out there on the dry part, right, the blank area because as soon as I start here, it's going to start going blue, right? And then it's going to track that blue throughout the whole thing. You're just going to have a very faint bit of blue on the brush. And so if we start in the blank area, it should stay white. We don't want to get up there too big, and we don't need to make it too big, right? It doesn't even have to cover. Almost if you have the black on the top and the bottom, makes it look kind of round, right? Just a little bit more rounded. You can maybe see over the top or whatever. Always hit it on the paper towel too when you come back from the cleaner. Brendan, you need any brushes clean over there? You're going to let me know. Here we go. Okay. Let's see if I added just a little bit more to this area, right? And then let it trail off, just literally like that, just out into the blue area. Once we start mixing that up, it will start picking up that blue, right? Get out there, a little twist, and then just literally pull away and stop. Like it's just kind of floating out, literally. Don't have to do too much. The bigger we make it, the more we cover it up, the more we're going to dislike it. The more red that it starts becoming, the more we're going to dislike it as well. Where's that brush you got, Brenda? Over here? Thank you. So remember, everybody watching, this one is available. You can grab it. It's right on the home page. You know where to go to get it. If not, then the mods will be telling you. And if you're watching on another place, maybe there's nobody telling you where to go, check out TikTok or Facebook or Instagram. Lots of people know where to go in order to find these paintings, right? Lots of people on YouTube too. There we go. Now, what we first need to do before we really get too much further into the clouds and stuff here is have that, because it's very dark, just looks black, right? We have to have a little hue of some light or something. And some of the times I add a moon up there. Some of the times I just add the bit, like that moonlight that's coming around. We just can't see the actual moon itself, right? So if we get a little touch of white onto our 1-inch brush, yep, should be just fine, right? And then we're gonna have to wash it again anyway. But we gotta get this blue down in the sky. And that's probably way too much. You know what I mean? And it looks like a little, but it's probably way too much. And I'll start up here, start kind of pushing down from the corner, dragging it down this way, not trying to make it all the, same bright amount of, white or blue or whatever. Just having a little bit of light. Doesn't even have to fill up our whole square. That's the whole funny bit about it. It can, doesn't have to. There. Oh, see what I mean? Just a little touch, maybe some very far away night sky happening up there. It's a really cool technique. So the more white that you put up there, the brighter it will be. Sometimes we'll add that little moon out there. Sometimes we'll do this or that. It's all up to us. All right, let's see. We got lots of people saying hello. Welcome. Thanks for joining, everybody. Let's see. I love the way he talks. Thank you. No, I don't like the sound of my own voice anyway. You know who else is like that? Billy Joel. Like, seriously. He's got a great voice, right? He hates the sound of his own voice. Doesn't like it when he listens to himself. So, okay. Once we get our little blue section up there, we'll take our white, the titanium white and cool white, right? And we'll get out here. And again, start in the empty area, pushing on right up into that. Oof, right? Just a little kiss on the red. Pop it up there. Maybe smush the brush over. So we're trying to use all the paint that we've got. Ooh, see how I got real high up into here and it got real red? We don't want to do that. And if I have enough space, I might add a little bit more paint just to have it be a little brighter. And then I'll trail it off this way, right out into the sky. You just got to go back and mix it up. Use your brush, really dab it off on a paper towel, all right? Make sure we get the most or the majority of the paint off. You don't really need to clean it in the paint thinner solution as much as you think. You can knock a whole bunch of paint off of that brush and not even have to get it wetter. All right, mix it out into the blue and then trail off. That's it. All you gotta have is a couple little puffs, and they look weird, right? They don't look like real cloud. I mean, maybe there's a section of it, right? But it's all about the what? Where do we always say the details lie? Where do the details lie in it? It's not the bright parts. It's the, Allison? The dark parts, the dark parts. The dark part, yeah, see? Yay! It's all about the dark parts, right? So if we cover over too many of these little dark patches of just the blank bare canvas with no undercolor on it, right? As long as we don't drag too many of those little white areas and cover too many little things, then it should look pretty cool. If you do cover up too many little things, then you're going to be getting down into the red, which is going to then recirculate up into the clouds and turn them pink almost instantly, right? So totally up to you what you want it to look like, but me, I don't know. I've done it before. And the pink, white, and blue is just not as patriotic as the red. I don't know. Something about it. There we go. A little mixy. It's cool. See what I mean, though? You get that roundness, or it almost looks like they're popping out away from those red stripes because it has those black bits around it. Right? What do we got looking at over here? Nice. Well, that's okay, though, right? So if we go, let's go like this. Let's see if we have, it might be the pressure. It could be the pressure. It could be the amount of bristles that are on the brush, too, right? So, on the brush, on the canvas. It's the same amount of bristles on the brush. But if, yeah, right? Do you know, because you're left-handed, do you like doing clockwise circles or counterclockwise circles? Because me, as a right-handed person, I do counterclockwise circles because it's easier for my hand. Yeah? Okay. All right. So if we're grabbing, you see how we're only getting the top couple things, and then when I come down and kind of pull it away, it's so hard to do left-handed. But the more things that you have down there, right, where you're kind of popping out so it's not such a flat bottom, and you could get a little taller on the top, but also it's got those same amount of dark bits on there, right? But it's about having that thing and then pulling it away, making sure, there we go, we don't have too much red in the clouds. It's going to be cool. Pop a little bit more white over that. But it might be the angle. So let's just see what it looks like as you start doing it. No pressure, of course. No pressure. Okay.
So, like,
yeah, I try to use as few bristles as possible just to see how it's going, right? And then we don't want to be, like, I always talk about, if anyone's ever heard me say the steamroller line, you came up with that, Brenda, way over there. You said, I don't want to be a steamroller moving with equal pressure from one side to the other, right? So as we start mixing up these little things, we're adjusting and changing and looking at it, you know what I mean? And trying to get it to like that and then kind of whip it down, right? It's not going to pick up as much red as you think when you try to go down there. You can, or at least you can get, yeah, just like that, right? And then you stop and you get all these cool little bits and then maybe let it lift up here. And then this side come down a little bit more and then look at it and go, okay, do I want it to be brighter? Do I need it to be darker? Do I want to have more, you know, where did I put my brush? Already I'm leaving it, and when the class has just barely started. We're leaving it everywhere. Perfect. Thank you. Do I want to have it bright, dark, this, that, whatever? It's all up to me. And that's all determined on how much white paint I put up here, which is why when we do it on a black canvas, we always start with less, because you can add more and make it brighter. The only thing is, if we lose all the dark pockets and stuff in between, that's when it starts becoming hard to see or too bright, right? Which doesn't make sense. I need the lights on to be able to see, but if it's too bright, can't see anything. So I gotta squint and shut my eyes, right? It's the same kind of thing. So we'll come down here, now that there's no bare, nice bare blank canvas, just a black canvas with a clear base, come down here. Oof, don't get up and grab that cloud or that bit of blue too much, right? So you pop up, pop down. See, I'm just jiggling it too. I'm just trying to get the majority of the paint to come off, stick onto the canvas, and leaving half or at least a quarter, a third amount of the space for me to blend it down over, right? So if I have it only up here, by the time that I push on this and get it to blend down this far, I'm probably going to overmix it because there's not enough paint there to begin with, right? And so if I pop in just a little bit more, maybe leave a space in between or whatever, and give myself a little bit of room, it's kind of like a dragon, you know, a little bit of room, so I can mix it, right? And then which side do we want to start on? Because I'm right-handed, I like starting over here. And then, so I just came out and then I pulled it back, which is how I got the residual of those little bits over here, right? So then I'll start over here and do the same motion and go back a couple times, dropping off a little bit more paint, right? Maybe I'll grab this side, take it backwards and then forwards, away from me anyway. Grab this up here, mix it down in sort of like a little arc shape, right? Because I don't want to bring it down too far, because I want it to be different. I don't want everything to look all the same. And then we go back and forward, just like a little cricket machine. You know what I mean? Just going and never staying in one place for more than a couple swipes. So if I get up here, and I just did, and I miss that spot, or there's a big old chunk of emptiness still in the thing, I can't just sit there. I've got to go over here and then come back and try to go over that spot again, and then maybe go back over and then come back over again, so that I'm not just mixing it all into one single thing, right? Very light along the top, and then the more you want it to grow, you got to push it a little harder, but it's not hard, especially not on this canvas. We don't have a lot of room for it to fill, right? And we just leave, you know, whatever size you think of a little dark line or a little dark separator in between them. It just, to me, makes it look like they're popping out from, you know, those signs that, like those wood signs that guys make, or that people make, right? With a, like, make it out of wood and all the thing. It's almost like that, but with the clouds popped away from the wood, right? It just kind of gives it more of a 3D feel to me. But if we were to cover up those dark areas and that black in between, then it becomes flat because you don't have those shadows anymore. Very cool. And then we can decide if we want to paint. You know, I've done so many of these over the years, right? I've done ones before where I put Happy 4th of July, like in the stars with little dots, almost like a, you know, like a little thing. Happy 4th, or, you know, 1776 or whatever, like all these little things. We can do all of that stuff, or we could just sprinkle in a bunch of them too and just have it be random. You could put different constellations or whatever you want to do. We'll get to that part later. This part's always good too, because just like that diagram, and you see my little smartest thing I ever writ down, right? Right over here. This guy. Have I showed you that before? The thing in the middle? No? So you can see we've got these, let's see if the camera can see it too. We've got these long lines that we're going to paint in the back, because that's our water coming in, right? We always talk about a long line, then a little bit shorter, a little bit shorter, a little bit shorter, a little bit. That's going to make a triangle, yes? It's sort of a triangle of a shape. And then with the same thing, these are going to be our lines across the bottom that we would normally do in a seascape. And that's why I talk about making triangles into a rectangle. And that area where we go in between is usually our blend, right? But it'll make sense when we start talking about like this. We'll take our palette tool. We're going to grab up our white, flatten it all down, a little crazy. Scoop up a little line like we always do when we're doing our seascapes and stuff, right? So this seascape, this back line of water determines how big your bushes have to be in your scene, right? Because if you only start it here, then your bushes have to come out that far in order to catch your water, right? So, and if you're lefty, we'll start like this and touch it against, and then start scraping it down and becoming very flat, and then down and down. And we don't want to fill up this whole area even. I mean, you could do 2 rows of water. It all depends on how much space we have, right? So if you could do however many. I know, that one messed me up when you, I was like, oh, that looks cool. And I come over to it and I was like, wait, what am I doing? That's not the scene we're doing. It came out looking amazing, and everybody loved that color that you used too. So we'll start over here. I'm going to scrape it down, right? And if I notice myself going too far down at an angle, then I'm just going to flatten off, right? And then I'll start the downward thing again, and then I'll flatten off, and then I'll start the downward bit again, and I'll flatten off again, right? And so it'll start looking like these little downward steps as we go down, right? All we need is this paint to mix in with that red. So we've got to scrub it, right? So it mixes in, and you can leave a small little bit of white, like front edge. But for the most part, we want that to be a red stripe, right? So if we even need to add our, oh goodness, I got red paint all over me already. And even if we need to add that bright red, you can use the same thing, the little roll of bright red out here, and do the same and keep it nice and red, right? That is going to be our ocean kind of coming in, and it can take up that whole area. Doesn't have to. The further away we actually keep it, the more our scene makes sense, right? Like if the water starts coming in too close, then the bushes wouldn't grow down that far. Otherwise, the tide's really, really, really high, you know what I mean? So all depends on where the back water is. And when we did that one last night, I think it's in the dry room too. I gotta start leaving these things out for when you guys come look at them. But we did Mary and I's class last night, and Alpha Bunny, Christina will tell you where to go. We were doing that class last night, and I was like, well, let's change it up a little bit and mix and see what we can do. And this, a lot of times when I have the most fun is when we're just coming up with something new. And we were doing that, and our water was so small initially in the distance, and it looked so real, versus like on that one behind you, it starts getting really close, and everything is like, oh, everything has to get bigger and bigger, right? So keeping a nice small little thing that's not even as big as my one index finger in its thickest area is not even that big, right? So that's all we really need, one little single little stripe, and then we can light up the whole bottom of it with our sandy area. If we added more, it just brings it a little closer, right? If I felt like maybe there wasn't enough or whatever, let's change it a little bit, add a little bit more. Drop it down however much. Doesn't even have to be the same. See how you got that big gap in the middle? That happens. It doesn't have to be this perfect thing, right? Throw it out here, and we want it to be pretty red. So if we're just gonna, or if we need to, we can just use that bright red. Scrape it up, spread it out, lay it on there so it stays nice and bright, versus the more white that we use, the more pink it's going to become, right? We want it to stay that nice dark kind of right fire truck red color. And I dislike red very much. Everyone knows that. Everyone that knows him. But either way, that color is just a nasty, I just don't like it. It's just bad attitude. It's a bad attitude on that color. Either way, we'll come in here with our liquid white, drop it over here. Oh, man. And we're going to make our little pile of our liquid white titanium white like we always do, right? So we'll take our... Oh, do you not? No, what kind of a teacher am I? To not lay out supplies for everyone, okay? I think I gave you guys the clear, and then in my head, I was like, if I put the white on that same plate, they're both going to mix together, and then they're going to be nasty, right? So now they're allowed to do that. So let me get those plates over here. Oh, your guys is looking so amazing. So amazing. We're going to push a little harder on yours too and make that little line, our little front edge. Let's see. Get this one. Good amount of it. Over here. Can you grab your plate for me? No worries. Over here. Now, some of the times adding a little bit of this liquid white to the paint in the background back there will help it move a little bit more, but we don't want it to be overly wet back there because we need to use this stuff in the foreground. Right? So the less we use, the better. But some of the times it's about the angle too. So if we were to come this way and try to do it lefties, which this is a more, I mean, we could change it still. You could do the left, you could swap it and have your bushes on this side, right? And everything will be much easier for the lefty. You think so? I think so, right? You can go backwards to what we're doing. It's allowed, right? So if we use this line, okay, and we can even use some of that for our downward pull. If we start up here and we start pushing in, you can even pick up that paint. And see how I'm pushing in harder? And the harder I push into the canvas, the more it forces the paint down to the edge and it falls out the edge of the blade, right? So you can even grab this stuff from up here and take it and cut it down, right? Cutting it side to side, making it lighter and pushing it so that it falls out, right? You got to have the right amount of paint on there, but we went like that, and then, see, that's being too much. It's so hard to load it as a lefty. I'm holding it left-handedly in my right hand, right? Which would mean, down, okay. So we're putting it in, right, like that, and then as we go back and forward, just little clicks, right? And we're clicking down, and it's just like little steps, like we're coming back this way, going forward, come back, going down, back, go down, back. They're just such a small thing. And then we're going to run out of paint, right? So we load it up again with that red. Flatten it out a little bit. Come on. There we go. All right, and you're holding it like that. So give it a try. Push on to the thing right there, okay? And then, so start out up here, right? And we start cutting it down until we start seeing that blade. And then you're going to, every so often, you dip down a little bit more, just like that. Oh, working amazingly. And stay in our red area over here. Yeah. So flatten off. And then, dude, see what I mean? All that being, sometimes just being shown. Yeah. Yeah, because this edge is actually going to show now for you. We're going to hide this side for us, but it's going to show, that's going to be the show side for you, right? So we'll take a little bit more, and you can even to brighten it up a little bit if you wanted to make a little bit of white into the red. And what you're going to do is take this, yeah, and just kind of slide it back so we have something back there, right? And then we do the same thing as righties, and we're just going the other way, right? To where we're coming down, and then we got all of our stuff going that way.
Are we going down into the or just that's our...
That's, we're going to stay right there, because then...
Look like sand part.
Yeah, we'll do that does this. Oh, that's so funny, because somebody, I think it was Alexis, sent me I think it was a photo. I didn't get to look at it. I saw it, the notification come through, and I was busy, but she'll either paint something. I know it has something to do with that, because she's like, does this look like sand? And I'm like, what is it? What is it? Is it real sand? Is it a waterfall? What are you sending me? It's funny how that's what I'm known for, is the Does this look like wet sandy beach? Okay, so we'll take a little bit of our liquid white. We've made up our little pile, which I've already done over here. All right, so we take about half and half, whatever I've got over here. I'll take about just the same amount of my titanium white, mix it, flatten it down, making the titanium white just a thinner version of its own self. All right, that's all liquid white is titanium white and like paint thinner. So we just want to mix it because one is too thin and too wet, and one is too thick and too heavy. And so neither of them will work without the other. They're like best friends. They're best little sandy friends. Man, this one's cool. This one is cool, you guys. Let's see if anybody's on the website looking at it. Could have already actually. No, okay, cool. Let's see. It's like because I have the app open, it won't make the sound if it makes it, you know, if we have a sale. Let's see. Oh, we got tons of people over there checking it out. You're not the only one. Let's get over here. We'll take our liquid white and titanium white mix. We'll scrape it down, and then we'll deposit underneath, right? And Brenda, I would maybe start up on this side first, on our short side, because if you pull down and you're into that blue, the next thing that you drop up here is going to also be blue, right? So same thing when you're doing yours, Allison, because you're left-handed over here, and this side is higher than this side, very small ones on this side, and then they're going to get bigger to fill up the red area over here, and they're going to overspill into your area because this is going to be pretty much white, right? We're going to have our white stripe right there. So we'll put our little bits out here, keeping our little separation in between. We don't need to have too much paint. All right, we can probably even add some red into that as well, just into that red area, just so it doesn't go overly bright. And then I'm going to drag it down over here. I'm going to get further into our little shiny blank area. For Brenda, it would be blue in this area. All right, and then we're going to pull them down like we always do with the wet, sandy beachiness. Yeah, so you're going to start your small bits on the right up here. Right, and a lot of this, everything out here is going to be covered up, remember. So I would start them like right there, and then that will give you, you know, you'll get to decide basically how, yeah, just like that, but slide it, like kind of scrape it down. There you go, yeah. And they'll just get bigger, and you don't have to deposit so much, you know, like it doesn't have to be one full blade's worth of paint at a time. And then I'm going to start on this side where it's white. By the time you get over here, Allison, it should be pretty white, because your black area over here should be pretty untouched. So I would start on that side and kind of pull it down. And then we always ask, does this look like wet sandy beach? Just yes or no in the comments below. Wet sand? If not, tell me what you think it is. It's going to be neat. All right, I like that we kept that little bit of red in the red section. It's darker, you can tell. All right, and then by the time we get over into our white area, especially down here, it's staying nice and bright. So even if I overmix this area by going above it or going over it many times, we still have that red in there. That's cool. I like it. What's yours looking like, Brenda, with the blue? Purple. Purpley? Ooh, that's kind of cool. Is it too cool for school? I want to see it now. I want to see it. Boom, ba, boom. Oh yeah, that's gonna be cool though. I like that. There you go. Yeah, now that side's gonna be white, so you start over here. Yep, start yanking it down. Only really filling up down to here, right? Because this whole thing we're gonna have swipe sideways anyway. Yeah, no, we're gonna have our bushes on this side anyway. Like our bushes are gonna cover here, so we don't have to go full edge to edge. And then her bushes, since she's coming the other way, are gonna cover on that side. It's going to be cool. This is what I mean, though, by one of these paintings. I didn't take the ocean far enough over to the side, so my bushes had to come out here to cover what I hadn't painted and now couldn't paint in behind all these bushes. You know what I mean? And I was like, no, I didn't make it far enough over. So, yeah, a lot of times we'll go far enough over so that we can maintain and kind of decide where we want to put those bushes out to. All right, so whenever we pull it or we swipe it down, we'll swipe it to the side, and then I'll ask everybody in the comments, does this look like wet sandy beach? Just yes or no. in the comments below. All right, just that area right there. Wet sandiness. I like it. Like it, guys. Right? Because by the time we come in here, this will all be dry white sand. And then into the red, and then another patch of white. And that's when they're going to want to start to mix together. So remember, guys, you can grab this one. It is, well, it's just, I thought it was a flag at first. That's what we're going for, a flag seascape, something I have created out of my own brain. I had seen many people do like a flag sky with a barn and some trees, or a mountain and some blah, 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 but no one ever did it with the beach. I looked, I was on like page 100 of Google looking. No one had ever done one, at least in the oils and the wet on wet that we do. So I was like, you know what? My own creation. And it's a, you know, impressionistic flag, right? Sort of looks like a flag, gives you the impression. I don't know the difference. I never went to art school. So surrealism, impressionism, patriotism, I have no idea. all the above? I don't know. Does anyone know the difference? Seriously, I'm asking all you artists in the comments. Surrealism is like kind of real and kind of cool, I think. And then impressionism gives you the impression of a flag. So it is surreal. Okay. It's kind of a flag, but kind of fake, right? Like a fantasy scene, versus impressionistic is if I had just like a white splotch of paint on the canvas, like a palette knife painting, you know what I mean? Where you just have like a splotch that's supposed to look like a cloud out there. Is that, I'm honestly asking. Yes, this is oil paint. Yeah, it's oil paintball. Is this oil paintball? I love that. I'm a fine arts major in college. Excellent. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But like, is impressionism, is that when I would just, you just kind of make, I mean, it's so hard for my brain to just not do it. You know what I mean? Like, just smush something up there and call it something. You know what I mean? Let's see. I'm waiting for her answer now. Katiana. Is that how you say it? Tatiana, I'm so old. Stop bending over and looking at the comments. What does this say over here? Oh, literally. Old glory. I like that. Where's Katiana? Is palette knife like impressionistic? I know, I definitely need glasses. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that realization that I may need glasses, okay? I'm here. So is impressionistic painting like you paint, I don't know, like a big jumble of something and some color, and that's supposed to be like a cloud and the sunrise or something, right? Like, it gets worse. That's funny. Oh man, I'm gonna put in a little bit of my liquid white and titanium white mix right on the front edge, so we can kind of lower that white water line down right on top of our little section, just like we always do with the seascapes, right? So we're just kind of cutting it back and forth, making it closer to the actual dark separator that's in between there. And I'm sure that the art major is gonna be like, dark separator? Yeah, no, I never went to school. So, not art school anyway. I went to regular old school, but I didn't go to art school. But yeah, we've been, I just make it up as we go, if you don't know. I know none of the terms and nothing, and we've got more followers than I can count, honestly. There, see what I mean? Just dropping that thing down just a little bit over here. Just leave that little shadow out there, right? It's the smallest little bit of untouched black, you know, or really dark red canvas underneath that we just didn't cover over. You know what I mean? Okay, so impressionistic, to be seen from a distance. They're blobs of paint up close. That sounds right. Sounds right. Sounds right. Breaking away from the roles of making it real. That's what I can't do. Like if I go to paint a tree, it has to look like a tree. I can't just, I just can't. I can't, my brain won't stop, or I don't know when to stop, either which way. Okay, so we can, if we want to, put out a little line of our fish pish out in the front. This right up into here, really. We don't want to have it too thick or too crazy, and yours will go the other way, right? You'll be starting up higher on the one side and lower on the other side. We'll drop it down. Yeah, dude. Just more pushing for the smushing. Like that, and then you just blend it hard, right? We got to push it hard so that it spreads out. And then you're going to cover up most of this stuff with our bushes anyway, because that becomes our wet, shiny, kind of sandy area that's back there, right? And then when we come down, we can decide where the bushes live and then drag down into that area and change the colors and all that. That looks really cool on the top. That looks really cool. Why do you guys always have the cooler ideas than me? And then when we go to post, yeah, it's just an accident. That's okay. Yeah, it just happened. We popped it out there. It's all good. And so what happens though, we'll post the pictures and they'll be like, oh, I really like theirs versus yours, Josh. I'm like, ha, thanks. Yeah, me too. Appreciate it. I always get high C orange lava burst from McDonald's, right? Always love that stuff. So I go up to see Danny one time, and she's going into McDonald's, and 99% of the time I always just order it through my app, right? Like London even said the most truest, most horrible thing anyone has ever said to me, right, was that she goes, Josh, you have eaten so much McDonald's that you have turned into the McDonald's logo. And I was like, I'm loving it. Dude, McDonald's sponsor me. Seriously though, I was like, I had to go look in the mirror, and I looked and I was like, you're kidding. Like I have McDonald's M's in my forehead. It's not fun. It's not funny. Stop laughing. No, it was literally the funniest thing I'd ever heard. Funniest thing I'd ever heard. Oh, FC worthy. Yeah, we've got them down for sale because we're moving soon. I'm moving out of this studio. I'm moving across to a new state. And so I'm trying to decrease the inventory before having to pack them all up and move them. And by the time I get home to Washington, then the prices will be going back up. So we've been talking about having that sale going for a long time. That easel looks huge. Where do you get it? This is the Meaden, what do they call it? The Versatile H-Frame. It's an extra large versatile H-frame. Just type in versatile when you go over there and it'll pull up this easel. It holds 2 canvases, as you may be able to see. You got the one up here, the one on the bottom. It also folds flat so you can, sketch on it or do acrylic pours or whatever. I don't know what you guys do. Most people will use this area to hold the painting and this area to hold the reference. So as you artists are sitting there, you can look up at your reference photo and paint the painting, right? But I use it in reverse because I can't sit when I paint. I have to stand up. And so, but yeah, it'll hold the canvas up to like 96 inches on either side. And I've modified mine a little bit. And to be honest, mine is screwed into the ceiling so it's sturdy. Otherwise, it does get pretty wobbly, just full disclosure. But don't tell my landlord. Okay, in any of the houses I've ever lived in, they've always been screwed to the ceiling. So either way. Now, what we're going to do is mix up our dark paint for our, you know what, actually, should we throw in, no, I mean, we can't. If we grab we don't want to get the liquid white if we do, right? We just want to use the titanium white. And this is going to be sand anyway, right? So if we pop in this white stripe down here, what we'll do is base as we start going and flowing down into this thing where it's going to be, right? We can also drop the white up here if we really wanted to keep our thing going, all right? Our theme, popping in that white. Maybe yours guys is already brighter up there, right? Which is perfectly okay. Oh God, I love that. Oh, okay, so now I need to find my palette tool, which I've set down over here like always. Brenda, thank you. Excellent. And we're gonna mix up our dark mixture of paint that we've got. So we've got our blue, black, and crimson, right? We don't need to add the red to it. So we'll just make up our normal PaintWithJosh plaque mix. 2 times crimson, 2 times blue, 1 time black. And there we go. Over here. What's the over-under, Christina? The over-under. It's a thing that she's like, one of the mods will keep track of how many times I mention Danny or tell a story about Danny or whatever. And so I'm like, what's the over-under for tonight? Because I know we're probably at 2 or 3 already. And this one doesn't count, as I mentioned, because I'm asking the question. Doesn't count. We been going for 54 minutes. I bet you they're going to hit me with a puzzle here soon. The old puzzle. Haven't been able to keep track during this special live. Okay, that's valid. That's valid. That side. Dude, what is it? So we're painting a seascape that resembles an American flag because we've got Flag Day tomorrow, and it's going to be awesome. This is where it's going to change from a seascape, from an American flag to a seascape, is when we start mixing up all these colors. Now, what we'll need is our bushy brushes, which I didn't give you, so let me get you. You want the, let's see. Let's see. A good one, Josh. The one other one with the black handle is almost too flared out anymore. You know what I mean? This guy. Smush him down. There we go. See, that's all you want is these little breaks in it. So when you're hitting it, right, you're only hitting these little bits, almost like a filbert brush, like Danny talks about all the time. There's another mention. Right, so we got to be at 4 now, I would think. So we scoop that up, right, and then we launch it into a big old pile because we don't want it flat. I don't want to come up here and have to hit the palette because I'm not going to get enough paint on there, right? But if I come up here and I tap into that thick part, that whole big pile of paint, and just make it nasty, right? Only on the top part of our brush, though. Because then I'm going to come out here and start a little bit higher, and you're going to start over here, right? And start dropping down this way. We're going to start up here, Brenda, and we're going to pop up, start blacking out everything, and then get down, come up, get down, like Casey in the Sunshine. But no, who was it? Get down on it. No, that was Cool in the Gang. Like Cool in the Gang. Did they? Maybe. It's possible. Who knows? This isn't music class. The good. Kinda, yeah. We just want to be above our horizon, right? We want to be above the horizon, and then it's going to dip down, and then you can decide where or how much you want to cover. You know what I mean? It becomes totally up to us from here on out. Maybe we get up a little taller up there. You go a little bit further over, however we do it. Because we're going to take all the bottom of these bushes and start to spread them. You know what I mean? We're going to grip onto them with our brush, pull them out this way, and try not to cover up too much of our red kind of sandy stripe. Right? So, little bit, we're talking maybe 3 fingers of paint underneath the thickest area, and then it goes to 2, and then it goes to 1. This is a very small, far away thing out there, or at least over to the side. It was Cool in the Gang, I remember. Get down on it. Come on, dude. Like, tell me that's the, you put that song on, and if you're not happy, it'll make you happy. Make you happy. Oh, dude, I love it, right? But we come down up here a little bit higher, and then a little bit further out into the stuff, right? Almost, like mine's probably 3/4 of the way from the side all the way over to the thing. And that'll give us a lot of stuff. Oh, I love the blue in there, Brenda. Yeah, I mean, we're going to add it anyway, right? When we pull this one out, if we stay down into this red area, and it's going to get dark anyway, and then we're going to launch white back on top of it like we always do when we're doing the regular scenes, right? No, you don't need the bottom stripe. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and then you can drag it, right, out this way and out, and then we get a little bit lower and lower and lower, and it can change in its color and stuff, and then we can go back and do whatever. Do whatever. I wasn't liking it at first, but wow, it's coming out nice. Thank you. Trust the process. I'm telling you, right? So if we come up here and we drag it outwards, okay? Step back and drag that guy outwards, right? All this stuff, even if I get some down into my little white area, I'm gonna go add more white to it anyway, right? Come up here, a little bit, change the angle, down, flatten out, back up here, changing the angle again. See what I mean? That whole white stripe is now pretty much gone. As we just drag all this stuff down and down and down and down. We don't have to worry about the stripes anymore, right? The stripes are in the sky, they're in the water. We don't really have to focus on them anymore. If we do, or if we can keep a little bit of residual color there, cool. If not, then this is when the actual real part of the painting starts looking versus the surreal part in the background. You better believe, trust the process. It's my new mantra. Exactly. Exactly. Oh, Chris. Man, see what I mean? And then when we get in there, we could literally get back in and load up a bunch of red onto the brush and drag down another, you know what I mean, and launch the red onto the canvas. It'd be perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Thank you. Who said that? Joaquin Lopez 997. I appreciate it. You got that right. Let's see. Seems to be worth the wait. I appreciate you guys hanging out and watching the show. We've got lots and lots and lots. Over 3,000, probably over 4,000 tutorials now. I've got to look. But yeah, lots of tutorials, guys. Seriously. And I'll show you how to do every single step of all these scenes that we do. Right? And you see what happened right there too? I just kind of took the paint, this dark paint out this way. It fell off the brush, but as soon as I stuck my brush onto this side with all that white and then took it back up, you see how far you can push that light color back, right? So we can mess around with it as much as we want. It doesn't have to stay perfectly white anymore. We could make the whole bottom brown if we wanted to. Seriously. It's what do we feel like today? What do you guys feel like? Oh, awesome. Awesome. Right? So after that, and you get all that dark color off, right? Then if you wanted, you take the white and you slide it back up, and it will slide up into our sand. Right? So without even having to add any extra stuff. Or we can pop down a whole bunch of red and, you know, have that red stripe. It's all about how much we want to cover, right? Do I want to cover a bunch? Do I want to make it look, you know, where do I stop making it look like a flag, right? That's the whole thing. Looking good?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, it's not. I love how both you guys should actually be swap when we do it for the picture. You guys got to swap and like hold them together because it'll look like one side and then the other side going the other way. It'll look really cool, right? So if I wanted to keep my sand red, I could take more red just straight off the brush, right? Heavily out of the pile, pull it out like that, fill it up however much I wanted, right? All up to me every time. I get to choose, guys, right? Every time we do these things, we're in control. Bang, right? Then when we hit up here with our white, get really crazy. Now, if you feel like you got to wash the brush in between, let me know. Right? I'm usually bashing it off on a paper towel, and then I know I'm probably going to have to come up here. Right? I don't want to make it such a perfect straight stripe anymore because it has to start feeding up into my little bushies up here. But keeping the red, white, the red, white, the red, white. See that? How you just slide it up and pull that brush away. Right? There's less pressure on the brush. Isn't pushing so much paint, pulling in or mixing into darker as it goes away, making it look like a shadow. Right? All these things, guys, you can do. I'm telling you. Just don't lose too much of that, you know, white and red stripe if we want to keep it. If not, no big deal. If this whole bottom area turns white, that's okay too. Everything is okay. Love this one. This one. Guys, is this one still mine, by the way? Has no one purchased this one? I figured you guys would be all over this scene. By the way, I should probably do the check. Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Still no puzzle. Hour and 2 minutes. Looking good. So, and I've been on screen less for this live than any other live. Dude. I like it. Some horses, that would be cool too. I'd love to see a rural barn. That'd be kind of neat. That'd be kind of neat. All right, so once we get our color up there, we're going to go back and add our highlights and stuff on top to that guy. But we should probably put in that next set or the lower set of bushes. But we need to make sure that we have this finished, right? So if we, because you won't be able to go back afterwards, right? So if we take some of this white and kind of take it and slide it up and pull it away, right? Just kind of feeding it up into those little areas. And then I'm wiping it off so that I don't drop another bit of red or whatever. Right? Doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't all have to be white. We could get rid of that red stripe. We could shrink it. We could turn it. We could do whatever. You know what I mean? There we go. I like that better. Once we do that, and we have our sand looking how we want it to be, we get into all this dark paint again, all that gunk and goopiness, and pop in. And remember, it's got to be heavy. So I can tell right here that this is not as heavy as that, right? You can tell it in its darkness. That means I don't have enough paint. I need to have a big enough pile so that my brush can suck it all up into the bristles and have all that gunk kind of hanging off, right? So a lot of times we don't make up a big enough pile. And that's because you don't want to, you know, we don't want to waste all the paint or make something too much or whatever, right? So get back in here, launch into that heavy part, right? And then I can really tell just by the color, by the thickness of the paint, how much is actually on there, right? How much goop and gunk, and you gotta have a lot, you really do. And how far do you wanna come out? How far do you wanna go down? Remember, because whatever angle we're matching right here, we also have to match on the way down, right? Making a triangle, like Paint with Josh always talks about. Who's this Paint with Josh guy? He sounds way cool. I don't know, to me. Depending on who you talk to. He's a good guy. Dude, I like that. And that is cute. All right, so we punch it in. Try this one too. But you really got to get up into that paint. Did you make a new pile? See the difference though? You can tell right here. Just how light it is and how it's not thick and chunky, right? And try this brush when you go to do the next one. So make up a new pile, and then we'll give you the Paint with Josh round brush. The best bush brush in the world. So Brenda's going with the 1-inch brush. Danny did that whole painting the other day. Oh, dang it, we just mentioned again. Oh, it is a round brush. It looked like the 1-inch brush. Danny did that whole painting the other day with just the 1-inch BobRoss brush and did my Seascape painting with all the bushes and all the stuff. It was awesome. There you go. So take this guy, flatten it. I know Christina's out there just like waiting for every chance to count it up again. I'm like, oh, dang it. Even though I love talking about Danny. Talk about Danny all day. Danny. That's 6 more times now. See? Talk about her more in class than we do on the video. Man, that's looking cool, you guys. I'm liking it. How do you like that brush better? Upside down. There, you got it upside down. So turn it where the paint's on the top. Angle it away. Right? So it's like a 45-degree angle down onto your canvas. Come on, you got this. You got this. Right? So we're hitting the top part first. Right? So you're like smacking down, leaving all that chunk, and then smacking, right? So that way the bottom, which is clean, isn't even contacting the canvas. Because every time, right, if we're using too many bristles, we're just going to smush all that texture down to nothing and just have it be super flat. Then it's harder to get your highlights to stick because you don't have any texture, right? And so that a lot of times will happen to me when I've run out of paint. I'm like, ugh, I only have one more little thing I want to do, but I know I don't have enough paint. And then I try it and I mess it, and then I have to go back and make more paint anyway, and then make my bushes bigger to cover over my thing that I don't like, right? So it's all about having the right amount of paint, that's for sure. The 3 Ps of paint. Do they teach the 3 Ps? What was her name? Catalina? Was it Catalina or Catatriana? I can't remember. She's still here. The art major. Do they talk about the 3 Ps of Paint with Josh in art college? Probably not. It would be funny though. Okay, I'm gonna grab up here. All right, drag, cut off half of that bush, and it's gonna make my paint dark. That's okay, right? Because I can go back and make it whatever color I want to make it by adding some more paint. Get back a little further, long strokes, right? We don't even have to go all the way back to the edge. But now you have these bushes with this bit of land, which is very close to us, because they're sitting all the way down on the bottom of our canvas. The higher up it goes, the further away it gets, to me anyway. Especially unless you're doing one of those scenes where you're so far backed into a tree that it's dangling out along the top, right? Because then you can have some real close foreground up on the top of your canvas. But a lot of the times, for me anyway, we go down into the bottom. Then, because it's very dark down here, we're using all that crazy dark paint, I might want to come back in with a lot of white, right? And try to launch back in some of my white paint, which is going to mix, right? The more I mix it, the more it's going to kind of fade away. And remember, we don't even have to keep the whole red stripe at the bottom. Like, who says? Who says it has to be red down there in this scene anyway? We don't have to do whatever we don't want to do. Maybe my white stripe at the bottom got a little bit bigger. It's no longer a flag, right? We're not painting a flag, we're painting a seascape. So we'll come out here, launch in another little a little bit of white. Is that how your guys' brain works too? They just chopped out everything from beginning to end. A little bit of white, no, a little bite. That's it. Just a little bite. Oh, give me a little bite. Like, no, get your own. Get your own French fries. There you go. How good are French fries, by the way? Talking like I've never had them before. Like, have you had these things called French fries? They're amazing. Okay. They come from France. What? Hey, good. There we go. No, those are baguettes. Okay. There we go. Perfect. A little bit of white stripe down along the bottom. And now all of a sudden we've got this little seascape leading down to the beach. It's cool looking. That is cool looking, you guys. Wait, what's that say? Scroll up. Oh, that's something else. Wish I could zoom in on the live. Katiana. We're about as close as we could get you right now. Man, this one's cool. Seriously. So, once we get our little bushes, we want to get our bush brushes cleaned, and then we'll be able to launch on our highlights on the top of those. And we'll be all set-a-rooski. Throw in our little speckly, sandy little things. What are you looking at? I see that. Dibs, how much I want to buy it. Well, you go to PaintWithJosh.com, and it's the very first thing you're going to see up there, right, is the, oh no, the TikTok stream ended. Dang it. We'll just fire it back up. But it's the very first thing you're going to see when you get to PaintWithJosh.com is this scene. It's called painting number 2486, and it's available for you right there. All you got to do is head over and check it out and throw it in your cart. Come back over here and tell us what to name it. Yeah, right? Yeah, and when you come down here, it's much more red and vibrant, and then that's the actual, you know what I mean? What we see, it's lots of craziness. There we go. Perfect, we're back, everybody. Love it, thank you, appreciate it. But yeah, thank you for the jewels and all the stuff. Appreciate all you guys over on Tube. Love you. Oh, we got a person checking out right now. It could be gone, honestly. No one knows. But there's only one, so if you want it, you got to head over and grab it. Now, let me get your bushy brush. We'll get that. How much you guys need to catch up at all? Or are you guys pretty caught up? Well, that's my bushy brush you've been using. Give me the other one, too. Oh. There we go. Deborah. I am so dyslexic. Brenda. What was it? Deborah. I must have seen, I think someone named Deborah commented on Facebook or something today. There we go. Okay, so we got this guy washed off. We're blasting through this class, you guys. There we go. Bing, bang, boom. So, get you guys these ones back. And then when we go to do the highlights on these, very light. Like we almost want too much paint and not enough pressure to get these to stick on the right way. Right? If we go thinking about, you're taking all this thick paint, right? It's got all that texture in it. And then you're going to smush all of the liquidy, wet highlight paint and mix. That's like taking water and dirt and mixing them together. And therefore you get mud. So let's throw on these little highlights. I'm going to wash off this brush. And then I think I remember in the tutorial from the live show that we did, I believe we didn't use any liquid white in the highlights of these because we wanted to keep them really red. You know what I mean? And if we add liquid white to it, that's just going to make it pink. You could use the liquid clear. What I just went literally straight red right onto the brush and onto the little things with the slightest amount of pressure. We can get some liquid clear if we need it. I think I did some little white flowery bits on the top. Yeah, little bits, right? So if we get enough of that heavy red paint, again, out onto the ends, right? And then I go light enough. See how it's not over smushing it? They're not too overly bright, right? Hello! I think that's the painting, you guys. You guys. It is. That's this painting. I know. Everybody loves these scenes. And I only do them every so often. Every, you know. Excellent. Okay, so let me know who grabbed this one. You're going to have to confirm if you got it, and then let me know. And then we'll ask you to confirm. And then I'm going to go back to that heavy red, like smushing the brush down to the bottom and then touching it so softly. Okay. Drop out a whole bunch. Red is a color that we barely ever use unless we're doing these scenes. I never just use the red on its own. And so I've got lots of it. We've got this thing plus a brand new one. And this is probably 3 years old that I've had this red color. Just a good long amount of time. Oh, God, it's heavy. There we go. You want some more? All right. I think I could use a little bit more myself. There we go. So who grabbed this painting? Let me know if it was you. And then you'll be asked to confirm via a certain number that we will ask you about. It's like those prove you're human type things. That's right there, F Kim 23 and 24 is the last of your 2-digit code. So that person right there is the purchaser. Thank you so much for grabbing this painting, honestly. Came out wicked cool and awesome. Awesome. Now, any little bits that I've gotten underneath where I've kind of highlighted and it's gone underneath and onto my sandy area, I can just drag those away very simply. Gone in a whim. Little wispiness. Then once we put on all of our highlights and such, right, which I need to hit this last guy, whole big bunch of red. There we go. If we need it, and you gotta have it there. Right? Can't have these scenes be too bright. Because if they're too bright, it takes away from everything else. Trust me, I've done it. Done it a million times. Now, what we're gonna do afterwards, right, is get just a little touch of our liquid white and our titanium white mix that we use the water for. And we're going to pop on just even the smallest little things on top of these little guys, right? And they're just like, you can imagine like little white flowers or whatever. So I'll let you use this brush too if you want, because it's already going to have the stuff on it. But if we get out here, we just pop in, just talking so little. I don't want to overdo it with the little white bits. I just want them to kind of be there so people will be like, ooh, I see that. I saw that spot. See, that one's way too bright. We hit it way too many times. That's okay. We can go back and make it darker. That's because I'm trying to push it, right? Instead of going back and getting more paint and coming down and going, okay, I'm popping here, a little bit there, a little bit here. We tried to push it and make it stretch, and that's not what you want to do. So make sure, is that your wet pile of the mix? Or maybe make up a little bit more. Okay, make up a little bit more and then, you know, leave it in a little pile that you can tap that brush into. You just don't want it to get too overly bright, right? It gets too bright, too nasty, and then nobody wants to deal. Nobody wants to deal, right? So if you do get a spot that's too dark or too bright, come in here, tap it in with that darkness, make it go away, right? That's that plaque mixture until we just want it to be there just enough. And then I can come back in with that red. And if I need the liquid clear, I can add that to it, right? But if we get that red just enough, launching a couple little things, and then we're going to pop down our big old trunks and all that stuff too. It's going to be really cool. So while you guys are catching up on the highlights and stuff, I'm going to run outside, take a little breaky poo. Everyone who's watching, of course, keep talking, keep sharing the live, keep doing all the stuff, right? We'll just pop out for a quick little break, and then we'll come in and we'll put in those stumps. Do 2 or 3 or 4, however many space we have, however many we have space for. There we go. And then we'll flick in our little sandy specks. Be sitting pretty. This will be one of the fastest classes. All because Allison and Brenda are so good. Yes, I was using the liquid white and the titanium white mix together, okay, right? And I just want it like so, such a couple. Same. It's the same thing, but you don't want to get too much paint on the brush, and you don't want to have them be too bright, right? You almost want them to be just a couple little flowers on top of those little red petals. You know what I mean? That's how I think about it anyway. And I never want it to be too bright back here, because the further away you get from the scene, the less you should be able to see, right? And if we need to, we can always go back and make them brighter. So let's take a little break. I'm going to take this microphone off for a second. You guys remind me to put it back on when we come back in. Here we go. Trying to get off screen for once. Okay. Perfect. This one's coming out so good. All right, I'll be in 2-3 minutes. Bring your clippers, did you?
I have to look. I've done a fair amount, but I work full time. And the paintings that I've done recently are just here. I've just been so busy at work, so I have a dog grooming shop. Oh, okay. I've clipped and brushed and whatever. My arms are doing this all day, so this is a little bit harsh, but you know, he's not going to be here much longer. I used to groom a lot of cats, but I don't because I don't do it anymore. If I had any old cats, my cats, I still do them. But there's just liability for the people that work for me. They're not grooming cats or anything. Cats are buttons. You know what? Some are buttons. They can be. They can be. I have 6 cats. 5 of them are long-haired cats. Oh yeah. Do you have them groomed then, or? Well, I brush them, but I have one cat. He's very, very special cat. Very, well, not right in the head. He is not like me. It's sweet, but I don't think that I could take it to anybody. It's just, So I got well, and how old is he? Once a month, I'm like, okay, dude, you gotta do it. Yeah. You just gotta pin me down. Sorry. Yeah. That's really what you gotta do. Yeah. I think it's like the best one.
This one's coming out so good, you guys. It is not finished yet. No, it's not finished. Just had to take a quick break. Compose myself. You guys all caught up and ready to go? I think by the time I moved up to Washington, Coconut's going to expect to come down to work every day. You're like, excuse me, I need to go to class too. Oh, yeah. Let's see if we can pick up Coconut and show the audience. You guys want to see my dog? Oh, look at all of her hair. Come here, Coconut. Come here, Coconut. Yeah, right. She sheds so crazily. Come here. Where you at? Coconut. You crazy dog. Come here. I want to show you to a million people. Come here. She's camera shy. She doesn't want to come up. That's fine. It's like, no, keep me here. Maybe we'll get her by the time the show ends. Okay, so we're going to put in our little posts in the background, right? Up into the foreground. Coconut, come here. Come here. Yep, she's like, nope. I'm going to stay right here and be in the way. Okay, So let's take our same dark mixture of paint, which we might need to mix up a little bit more of, and we'll throw it down. And then you guys out there watching, you're going to have to come up with a title for this painting, because our purchaser gets to choose what the painting is, right? And it's going to be fantastic. I know, I would love to see her too, but she won't come over here. Coconut, come here. Come on, now that I got a paintbrush, or a handful of paintbrush, come here. Where's your baby? She's a big old dog. Come here. Let me pick you up. She's like, no, I hate it. Oh, I know. There she is. There's the big baby. And she's a big baby. Oh, the babies. She's so sweet. She's like, I hate this. I don't like being up here. I don't like it. You're so sweet. Oh, go lay down. Go on the rug. That's what I'm talking about. Hair and paint. Cover me and everything. It is a red healer. She is a red healer, exactly. So, let's take our smallest fan brush. We're going to get that dark paint on it, right? We'll come out here, and we'll just make like a little vertical little stump. Boop, right down into the ground, right? Very kind of flat along, and then plop it down. Don't have to do much else after that. Take the bottom of it, and we'll slide it back towards our bushes and have it disappear. Yeah, I would use the smallest one. Teeniest, tiniest one, then wiggle it down. So kind of like this, flat, right? Flat on the thing like this. We're wiggling it down, flat on the table, flat, to make it turn into like a sharp axe blade. You know, a very sharp little bit of a brush. Then we plop it down. It's only about an inch big. Little guy out there, right? Little small little guy. And then we've got to make it slightly bigger, slightly further away, and slightly lower all together, right? So we're kind of pushing harder on this one in order to make him wider, and then fall down a little bit lower than our last guy, right? Oh, I like him. He's on a little angle. I like him. A lot of times I'll put him in and I'm like, dude, they're all straight up and down, and it looks kind of funky because these things get, you know, bashed into, and yeah, it's never straight up and down, so it looks really cool. Take the bottoms, slide them away, right? Don't need the whole bottom part. Get rid of that area. Bing, bang, boom. He's got himself a little shadow. I like it. Then we've got to get taller and much, much, much wider as we get to these bigger ones in the front, right? So if we come up here, now we're almost at the top of our thing, basically creating this angle, right? So we're matching the same angle on the bottom of these guys, meaning our next one, or our biggest one, has to land down here, right? And then the same thing, we're matching that angle on the top, meaning that that last one should be popping up right here into our bushes, right? To make a triangle, right? So if we go like this, it's going to end down here. If we go like this, it's going to start up here. Doesn't have to be, you don't have to do it all that way. You can make it smaller if you wanted to, just as long as it sits lower, right? So get up here, hold the brush flat against the canvas now, and push it down all the way to the bottom of the canvas, back and forth. We're just making it much larger than these other guys are, right? Wider this way, taller, sits higher, ends lower down at the bottom. And we're going to do two of them like always, right? So these ones will be a little thicker. Drop on that heavy paint. There we go. Just brush it straight down. We're going to take out the bottom anyway, right? Then we'll go back to the side of him a little shorter, and we'll pick a spot. We'll come over and then fill in that whole area as well. Bing, bang, boom, all the way down to the bottom. Filling it in nice and dark, right? It's going to be the darkest thing out here because it's the closest thing to us. So even if I have to use pure black paint to make it dark, right, then do that. It's going to be trying to pick up that white paint at the bottom down here. So every time you come down and hit that white, it's going to try to drop white along the top, making it brighter, which we don't want. So get out there with the darkness. Darkness. There. I like it. And then we got to pull away at the bottom wherever we don't want it to be. So we start on the outside, drag through it, slide that shadow off to the back. Right? Now all of a sudden, we've got little posts stuck into the ground out here, looking fantastic. So you guys, hey Ashley, that Ashley Strong right there, that's my cousin. Ashley, you're an amazing artist. Love this so much. Thank you, Tammy. I appreciate you. Let's see, this is just beautiful. Thank you. What does that say? I can only see the chic part. 80s chic. It says chick, but either way. 80s chick says that is just beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. So, is our purchaser back? Did we sell the painting and then the show ended, right? Did he ever come back? I can't remember. I hope he was able to find his way back. Or they were able to find their way back. Let's see. Josh, where you been? My FYP has been missing you. That is not my fault. That is your fault for not commenting on my videos every time you see them. That's about the only way to keep me on your FYP, right? Otherwise, if you just watch one of my videos and scroll away, TikTok or YouTube or whatever thinks you don't like that. So they won't continue to show it to you. They'll show you other stuff, right? So if you like my stuff, make sure that you're hitting the like button, you're commenting, you're doing all the things to keep that algorithm. You're telling the algorithm that you want to see more of me when you comment on my stuff, right? Jeannie says, I can't wait to see you in Sella. Sella! They get so mad over there if you call it Sella, because it's Sela. But to me, that is Sella, right? Like S-E-L-A-H, Salah. This one is already sold. We're hoping that the person is going to pop back in. I'm hoping anyway. If you guys do want doubles of this one, or, you know, for me to recreate you. Okay, F. Kim, there he is. Okay, there they are anyway. I can always recreate you one. You can always commission one, and we can talk about sizes and pricing and all that stuff. Go over to PaintWithJosh.com. Use the Contact Us function in that 3-line menu at the top. It says Contact Us, send me an email, and we'll talk about it. All right, over here, over there, and everywhere else. So you guys got your posts in? Yeah, man, you guys are keeping track. Coconut's over there on the rug, like, don't ever pick me up again and show me on live, on live phonovision, right? Can't say television. We're on our, everyone's on their phones watching on live phonovision. That's really cool, though. Okay, so everyone's going to have to help F. Kim come up with a title for this scene. They get to decide, since they purchased the painting live during the show, what the title's going to be. And they're going to be wanting your suggestions, right? So first thing, we're going to be taking a little bit of our red paint, right? If we're going to highlight this, these guys like we do with our brown, if we think about how do we do it with the brown paint, we take a little crimson and a little red, right? Just like we do with our dark brown and our light brown. So we'll make up that crimson red mix. Ooh, it's very dark. Ooh, yeah. All right, about a half and half. 50-50 on the crimson and the red, okay? Then we'll do a little bit of our red and the most minute amount of white on its own, right? Like the smallest bit. We don't want to have too much of that. Otherwise, it'll get too bright. We might even want to use the red pure on its own. Do you guys need more, by the way? Okay, if we do, we can get some out. We can get some out. It's Flag Day tomorrow, you guys. 4th of July is coming up. We'll be doing another, like all 4th of July weekend will be all flagscapes in different crashing waves, the East Coast scene. I'm wondering how we could do a West Coast flagscape. I'll have to come up with that. Huh? No, by the time we're in, by July 4th, I would hope, because that is a big weekend where I can make a lot of revenue selling these paintings, I would hope to be up and running in Sella. That's going to be fantastic. They get so mad when you say that. It's so funny. So they're like, oh, I can see Jeannie, like her ears are steaming every time we call it Sella. Okay, so we're going to take our crimson and our red together. Then we're going to have just the red on its own, okay? And then maybe a little bit of red and like the smallest amount of white on its own, just so it's a little bit brighter. But I don't want it to be pink, right? There, you see what I mean? 3 different color reds out of all of that, and we should be good. We don't need a lot of the super bright red. That's just for the front edge, which would be this guy. We're assuming all of our light's coming from here, hitting on this side, pulling our shadows to the side, right? So if anything, we'll just have that very bright red along this guy right here. So I usually start out in the distance with that mid-range color, this being just a pure red. We'll get a very small roll of it, and I'll tap it along just the right side of our little post out there, our little friend, just to take away its silhouettism, right? So now it's not just a pure silhouette anymore. Can you tell we didn't go to art school? It's not just a pure silhouette anymore, but it has a little bit of that darkness along the back edge as well. And we don't need to have too much texture on that little friend. Remember, he's an old nasty log. He's just a log. Who left a log on the beach out there and smashed it into the ground? That's what I want to know. Same thing on our little friend here, right? This one we can do a little bit more. We'll have a little bit of that red catching the light on the front, right? And then feeding its way to the back, getting darker and darker as the paint falls off. So you're not having a pure red stake. You have to have that darkness. You have to leave that base shadow at least somewhere in there, right? Same thing on this guy. We'll start in the middle of this big one, tap down a little line, right? This one we got a lot more space on, so you can see that we're holding the blade, this edge anyway, very vertically, so it's straight up and down. It's not at an angle. It's not like this. It's not like that. Straight up and down, and we just tap against it, right? And as you tap it, it deposits some of that paint in a little ribbon, almost like when you push against it and pull it away, it leaves a little bit on each end. That's all you're doing, going back and getting a little bit more of your ribbon. Come back over here, and the more that we touch, the more it's going to want to mix in with that dark paint, right? You have to allow that to happen. It's got to be allowed to mix as we tap it. And the more we tap it, the more we're going to smush it. And as you smush it, you're going to lose all that texture. So you're deciding how many taps, how many smushies, how much texture we're leaving. We're leaving spaces in between, right? We're not covering it up completely so that the red is opaque against that darkness. We want to leave some of that stuff in there. We're going to use that crimson color along the backside. So it's just a deeper, darker red, just like we use our deeper, darker browns along the back of our logs. We'll use the deeper, darker red on the back of these logs. Bing, bang, boom, right? If we cover up all of that shadow color though, right? Even in between all these little bits, or cover it all the way to the edge of the shape, you lose that roundness, right? You almost need that darkness underneath there like an illustrator's pencil. We get that very bright red, and we put that brightest color out here onto the edge. Boom, on the side, okay? That's the red and the white together. And as we tap it and work it like a spiral staircase down into the darker side, you start to pick up all these little wood grain bits and different little things here, there, and everywhere. Bing, bang, boom. Oh, I love it. Now we've got to have a bit of that black in there too, right in the middle. That black paint that separates the two beams. A lot of time we'll overtouch an area. Just like that, guys. How cool. Little thing on the top. There, right there, just a little oval to make it look flat. Wow, that's neat. So start coming up with the title, guys. I'm gonna go look at the students' work over here in the night. Really wholesome show. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh my word, look at that. Yeah, but still, no, because like, right? I mean,
the light is supposed to be on this side. But...
yeah, but it's easily changeable still. You could still do it. And if anything, right, like I love the lean, but it's almost like this guy is thicker at the top and it looks like it gets skinnier. Yeah. If you add it out to there, you know what I mean? Just kind of cutting out a little bit more. And then this is supreme. I mean, if you took that bright and you put it on this edge and left it right there, it's going to look amazing. You know what I mean? You just change the side that it's coming from. Oh, mine are super chunky and thick up there. Oh, Brenda, this is so awesome. Oh, I love the lean on your guy too. I love the lean. He's a leaner. That's the best part about painting too. We all use the same tools, the same colors, the same everything, and yet everyone's is different every time, right? There's never one that's exactly the same. It's all different all the time. And that's all you really need, right? A little bit of that chunk and nastiness. And if we really need some dark like texture along the backside, maybe on this big guy up here, or if I wanted to run a bit of dark, you know, shadowy line in between to make the wood look a little bit more rustic, or you can do whatever you want. You know what I mean? It's all up to us. We're choosing. With each one of these things, we get to pick what's happening today. What's going on this evening? You know what I mean? Oh, holy shaving cream, you guys. That is awesome. Awesome. Dude. And you just keep going back. If you got too bright, go back and add a little bit of dark. You get too dark, go back and add a little bit of bright. Make a little oval at the top just to make them look a little flat up there. And then we'll put in our sandy spot. Do you guys want to do the rope? Yes. Brenda, no hesitation. Yes. Just instant rope. I like it too. It makes it look really neat. So for the ropes, we're going to need our odorless mineral spirits with our black or blackish mix of paint to first create the shadow of the rope, and then we'll create the highlight on the rope, and then we'll be good. Excellent. So what's it, F. Kim, do you have a title? Kind of doesn't have to be your final answer, but have you seen some cool titles for this painting that you might go with, or maybe come up with one on your own? Man, that looks so cool. Okay, I'm gonna start washing some of these bigger brushes because I'm not gonna use them anymore. And we'll get out the paint thinner stuff so you guys can get some ropes going. In the meanwhile, we'll be waiting for F. Kim to decide what the painting title is going to be. Then we'll spritz in, did he? Let's see, Freedom Beach. Freedom Beach 250. I like it. I like it. Dude, literally whatever. Freedom Beach 250. Is it the 250th anniversary? See, I'm smart. I'm kind of smart. I'm not really smart. I'm quite dull, actually. Okay. I can paint, but, you know, that comes with mental illness. Creativity and mental illness often overlap. Okay, so we don't need that guy. Don't need this guy anymore. Wash off this old brush. So, Freedom Beach 250. The 250th. I like it. Okay, thank you for the super over there. You guys are amazing. I appreciate you. What's that say? Let's see. Thank you for being awesome to watch. Thank you. Who's that? His creation. That's neat. See, I'm not that smart to, like, do that with my screen name. I could have been like P8 with Josh. You know what I mean? Like paint. See, it just doesn't work. I'm not good at it. Either way. Josharoo. Hey, it's Leah. She's another a local Sellaite over there, or a Sellan. What do they call? What do you guys call? She's actually from Ellensburg. It's a town like 30 minutes away. But over in Selah, what's happening, Leah? Leah. You ever heard? I always mention Mary is my Leah, because Leah is Danny's best friend, and will go and help her set up and clean up and stay late and do all that stuff. And that's what Mary does when she comes to classes. So I was like, Mary is my Leah until I get up there, and then Leah will be my Leah too. Okay. So we've got all that done. We just need the rope. Okay. So we're going to get our odorless mineral spirits. Let's see. Miss you too. From sea to shining sea. It's hard to say. All right. So do you want me to do the rope first and then you'll have something to look at? Or do you want to do it back here? Because I'll give you the Paint with Josh brush to do it with. What's up?
I have 2 glasses on my head.
Brenda's rocking double pairs of shades. And they're both Oakleys. No, I'm just kidding. Rocking double sets of Oakleys out there. All right, so I'm going to get my paint thinner into my black paint, just the black color, right? Not the plaque, but the black. So it's darker than this darkness that we have out here. Then I'm going to, with this very wet paint, sort of cut a channel through all that red and all that stuff, pushing real hard so it pushes it out of the way. It literally cuts a channel into it, right? If I need to get more of that wetness, it's got to be wet. You don't want them too far apart. You start on the outside, roll it down, stop on the outside, right? The rope itself has depth. It has width. So you have to show it sticking the smallest amount over the edge, right? Then you decide where you want it to be. Maybe this little guy came falling off the back side down here, laid down onto our little sandy area, wiggle down out that way. You know what I mean? Okay. Everybody wants the Paint with Josh liner brush. All right, let me show the people what it's going to look like, and then we'll give them a chance to start coming up with all the titles. I'll do the whole thing, right? So we do the dark line first, then we come up here with the white, and again, you start on the outside, but you're not trying to fill in the line. You're trying to go over it, right? So that there is dark shadow underneath, right? So it's basically you're making 2 lines that are touching, right? The black one's on top, just like your fingers. The one would be black, then you'd have the white on top of it. So the white is casting a shadow over the black area, right? So you get out there like that again, right on top, not trying to fill it in, trying to go on top of it so that there is both, right? Yeah, so you got, yeah, so your black line is down here and the white line is just kind of overlapping it and cutting out half of it, maybe, right? They don't need to be 2 solid lines on top of each other, but you also don't want to cover up all of the black because then it'll just be pure white and it'll have no depth to it, right? So the same thing down here, start on the edge, drop it down, trying to cover up some of it, but not all of it. Zip it, just like that, right? So you get that little bit of roundness with that dark color underneath, right? So you guys both want to use this one. Let's get the thinner down. Into the black. Bibbidi bobbidi boop. I don't know why I do that. There we go. You're just going to cut it through, right? Do you want them all stick too? We've got one. Oh, we've got like 17. Okay. Take this little guy. Know how to use him, right? So basically how I do it is I would have thing in this hand, I would use it like this, right? And then I'd rest my palm on whatever I wanted to draw, right? So if you were doing it, you would probably be like this, resting your hand down. So it's like your hand is on the table, right? Because you can't touch your painting because it's all wet. You put your hand on the table or hand on the, I'll make sure this guy doesn't move. Now you definitely don't want the easel to shift. Make your rope into a really big thing. We've had the easels. These, well, if you push them off the edge of the table, then it will fall down. It won't go flat from this position unless this little nub on the end goes over and there's no more anything holding it up. And that happens many times in the classes. It's cool. I like those stakes. What's up?
I'm talking to myself.
Here, talk to the world. You have to say it loud enough. I told them they wouldn't be on camera. It's okay. Maybe audio. Man, that looks so cool. My word.
I don't.
Oh, take the brush though. Well, do that. Since you got the black on it already, do that, and then we'll both do the white afterwards. Figure easier to do that than anything else. And then while you guys are getting that ready, I'll get the sand all speckled into my little guy over here. Man, that's always one of my favorite parts. Take that liquid white onto a hog hair bristle brush, and you just start speckling in about 1 billion little flecks of sand, little bits, little things, about as many as you want or as few as you want, you know what I mean? And a lot of times we have to add those black ones in as well, if the sand is too bright, right? If it's too white, you can't see those white specks unless you add the black specks in too. Dude, it's coming out cool. I like it, right? And then when you go on the top, you're just trying to go, instead of, filling it in, you're trying to go on top of it so that it has that little shadowy bit underneath. So if you guys are wondering, like, maybe this is your first time checking it out or whatever, this is not the normal show, right? The normal Paint with Josh show is we paint a scene, very simple. We could paint this exact same scene, but I'm teaching you how to do it more quickly, right? In the classes and stuff, we tend to slow down. And this is actually the first class that we've ever done where we've streamed the class during the show, right? So let's see. Bang, bang, boom. For stars in the sky. Yeah, we're going to put stars in the sky. Don't worry. Don't worry. We're going to get out here with our dark bits first. Plop on our little sandy speckles. Launch those guys in. See what I mean? You have to have those little dark specks. Huh? Yeah, it's either the black or the plaque mix. Just a very dark, dark, dark color. And then when you go back in with the white, right, those white specks stand out even more over the black specks because, let me have that bucket real quick. I'll just slide it up this way, just the smallest little bit. Beep. Littlest little touch. There we go, right? The white won't stand out unless we've got a very dark base. And so if your base is too bright, you have to add those black specks in there. There we go. So now we can get up into the sky. We can start launching in. You don't want to do too many, right? We got all these stars out there in the sky. And if you really wanted to paint singular ones, right? Like maybe you wanted a nice one. A lot of times if you just use the end, the handle of the brush, and just dip it into the liquid white and then pop it into your canvas like that, you'll get a really bright star. All right, we'll take these guys, streak it up and down, pop it over this side. Bink. Get yourself a little twinkler out there in the day. Or night or whatever. How many of these little guys do you want? Yep. You can do it with the brush. The problem is if you push too hard with that brush, then it's going to smush too big, right? Yes. And just tap it in, beep, like that, and then touch the canvas. And the very first one, it's going to be your biggest one. It's going to be the most that comes off at once, which is why we usually make that guy into a little twinkler, right? Then every other one that comes off of there is a bit smaller and a bit more manageable. Bink. Oh, guys, look at the twinkles. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Let's actually make these twinklers in the shape of the Orion belt. Oh, I love that right there. And then we'll have 3 little doers in the night. And if you know, then you know what these 3 represent. Right there. Bink. Dude, I like it. I like it, guys. So, let me know when you're ready for the sand bit. I'm going to sign it when you guys give me back my liner brush. I'll sign it. And...
What liner brush?
Wow.
Where to go?
Oh, where'd that one go? It disappeared. Brenda's like, that happened to make it into my bag. I don't know what happened. I think it's right there. See that thing? So, get this guy, we'll sign it, and then everybody out there, you might be able to change F. Kim's mind about the title, right? If you're lucky, they might change their mind. I'm pretty sure they're already set. But type into the comments what you might want to call this painting, right? Let us know, and then they get to decide, and they may stick with what they've chosen already, and you might be able to change their minds, right? You never know. So type it in, and then we're going to finish and let the students get all finished up. And then, dude, do you guys want to have a light party in here in the studio? Be an in-person light party? I can't believe Allison is going, what's a light party? What's a light party? It's okay. When we get to a sale during the live shows, it activates these lights, flash red, green, and blue real fast, so the painting changes colors and does all these cool little things. It's really cool, right? So you guys will be here in person for the light party. You should feel lucky. All the people out there would love to be in here for a light party, I would imagine. I would just think. Maybe not. Who knows? I might just be talking out my rear end. There we go. I was saying to somebody, I think it was yesterday's show, somebody was like, oh, like he never reads my comments or whatever. And I'm like, you should, I invite you to come in and see how fast they come through, how hard it is. And while I'm doing a show, trying to, you know, come up with, what's that? No, I wasn't going to do a moon in this one. You can. This one, oh, yeah. Let's see. The other one had it? I guess the other one had it too. I just figured we didn't put a moon in this one. But yep, we flick them off, and then I would do the dark specks first. You know what I mean? We'll do the dark sandy specks with the paint thinner, where you get that little bit of paint thinner on the... I would use a heavy brush too to do the speckies with. Coconut, what are you doing? Get out of here. Oh, that's cool. See, so you got some dark specks. I see. You got the light specks. You got the stars. They're looking wicked. I love that guy too. Just pop another little bit of white in there. Yeah. And if you just hit it, and every time I do that, and then I do the thing, and they end up taking away too many. You know what I mean? You just pop another little thing in there. Oh, everyone's came out so cool. Okay, so what are we going to title it? Everyone's looking great. And then Brenda, you might not even need the black specks because yours is already dark enough red. They'd probably help if you added them in there too, but you might get away with just doing the liquid white specks. Down in the sandiness. All right, so F. Kim, let me know what we're titling this painting right now. And then, I keep coming over here to clean the brush, and the cleaner is over by you guys. There we go. So you let me know if we're going to stick with the Freedom Beach 250, or if we're going to change your mind. Tell me now so we can do this, and then we'll do the light party, then we'll end the show, and then we'll finish the class up and be done, man. Just like that, seriously, it's only been 2 hours. Most of our classes at least go 3, you know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, just with the black specks you're talking about, the dark specks. Yeah, we do the... No, because it's not strong enough. I found that the acrylic brushes, the synthetic bristles, they don't spray enough or spray as much as the hog hair ones. You know what I mean? I can give you an old nasty one if you want to just do the speckies with it. There you go. Use this old guy. Yep. What do you need over there, Allison? Where you at? Let's see. That's cool though. I mean, you can make it all go away, right? Because there's enough blue underneath there that if we blended it away or smushed it, it might look like the aura of, you know how we kind of do the moons, right? So if you do that and then pop another little star in there, that might look cool. I would literally just do it. See that? So now you've got this like aura around your star that you can put in there, and then it'll make it look a little like it's like casting a bunch of soft light out there in the night. I think we'll be good. I'm gonna start cleaning up these brushes. So what do we got for a title? Let's get it pinned up there so I can spin the canvas around and throw the title on for us. Now that I've got these brushes over here, I can start cleaning them. Freedom Beach 250. I like it. I need about 350. Can we get to 350 instead of 250? All right, let's get this guy, take him out here, throw it up over there. Bingo, bango. Just like that. So this one has been amazingly awesome. And we're going to get to do an awesome light party. 2486. Calling it Old Man Squints 250 copy. Freedom Beach 250. Right there. Painted on 6/13/2027. We're all going to go to PaintWithJosh.com. Find all the other paintings that we have available. Extremely low pricing because we're trying to shift some inventory so we can move and not have to move so many paintings, right? So if you want awesome paintings for an awesome deal, check out the website and go look at the original painting collection. And that is going to be the one that you want to find. You guys came out amazingly. So let's do a quick light party. I'm going to give you a flash warning, okay? If you're sensitive to light, then turn your phone away for the next 30 to 60 seconds. We'll do a quick little light party, and then we'll get up on out of your faces, okay? So if you're going to stay for the light party, legally giving up all liability against Paint with Josh LLC, type in the words, I'm ready, then hit send, then shut your eyes. Because the longer that your eyes are shut, the more intense the light party will be. All right, get it nice and dark in here. When we see enough I'm readies, I'm going to flip the switch and we'll count down 3, 2, 1. We'll say light party. And you're going to open your eyes and you're going to tell me the very first thing that flashes for you or at least catches your attention the most. All right, so when we see enough I'm readies, we're going to throw it down in 3, 2, 1. Light party. So what's catching your eye? Is it the clouds, the water, the rope, the stars, the blue sky? Where is it? Tell me in the comments now. Tell me now. Can we see the class's paintings? That's up to them. Can we? Okay, Allison says yes. Brenda says yes. Okay, so we got the clouds, got the stars, the birds, a little popping. I think that the red stripes almost catch my attention because they blink away. You know what I mean? They disappear, literally. So, the bright star, I like that. All right, we'll bring it back down to normal light, and now we're going to do one more thing that we call the RGB party, meaning we're just going to put solid red light, then solid green light, then solid blue light, and you just got to choose what team you're on. You're going to be on team red, team green, or team blue. We're going red in 3, 2, 1, red. Oh, look. Look how the red, like, literally deletes some of the colors. You know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. And then, right, that's team red. What's team green look like in 3, 2, 1, green. Ooh. See, the green erases the red. It like deletes red and replaces it with black. That, dude, we should do a green one. That'd be cool. Okay, going blue in 3, 2, blue. Everybody always loves team blue. But which is your team? Are you on team red, team green or team blue? You guys, let me know now. I love the green. I think I'm on team green this time. Right, we're gonna bring it back to normal lighting conditions. So if you were sensitive, you may now look back. Bing, bang, boom. Oh, now I'm gonna turn the lights on for everybody else. So, guys, you've been amazing. Thank you for grabbing this painting. F. Kim, you've been absolutely stellar. I do love this one, and I can't wait to see your guys' versions of this painting. So when you do it, send it in. We're going to be doing a lot more of these throughout the 4th of July weekend, hopefully, and if not, this will be your one tutorial to be able to do a flagscape for this holiday weekend coming up. So, beyond that, you guys have been absolutely stellar. I can't wait to come back. We'll do another show soon, and until I see you guys again next time, take care. Best of a good day, and blah. Well, that one came out amazing. I want to thank you guys for being here, liking, subscribing, tapping the screen, commenting, and interacting with me. It's all been fantastic. In the meantime, before we get to our next painting, be sure you check out PaintWithJosh.com because there's always something else to look at over there. So until I see you guys again next time, take care.